During the 80s and 90s, the toy industry was a machine that needed to be fed with new toy concepts constantly. In order to pump out new waves and lines each year, design, sculpting, and production were racing the clock to be in time for the next toy fair. But the plug could be pulled at any time, and some toys just didn't make the cut. From failed lines to popular lines that had plenty of concepts to choose from, this series of unproduced toys focuses on the prototypes and sketches we can only dream of owning now. So be sure to subscribe for more 80s and 90s toy videos on the channel, and let's strap in for some toy history. The year was 1991 when Toxic Crusaders made their debut on the toy market. In previous episodes, we've discussed plenty toy concepts that never made it into the second wave of the toy line, but after further inspection, the initial toy offering also has a secret neatly tucked away in the first Toy Fair catalog. Toxic Crusaders had another environmentally safe transportation for the store shelves planned called the Toxic Wing, which could have easily had taken it up against the Apocalypse attack copter, but I guess it was just cleanup time before they sent out the shipping boxes. Look up in the sky, it's fast, it's environmentally safe, and it's hideous. The Toxic Crusaders' gigantic aerial attack wing has an awesome 3-inch wingspan and is made from real parachute material. Toxie and his cohorts swoop down on Dr. Kill-Em-Off, dropping ozone bombs, dispersing smog, and blasting the garbage goons with air freshener machine guns. And then the detachable harness can convert from a turbo glider to gyrocopter for safe, soft landings. I always found vehicles like these were tough to play with unless it really had a good landing gear, otherwise you could never balance them on the ground, and they don't really display that well. But let's see which other features this bright colored 90s screaming toy would have gotten. It includes a working winch for quick pick-me-ups, came with detailed sculpting in the form of Toxie texture styling. Toxic glow colors are always a must for the line. It came with toxic waste barrel fuel tanks and bonus cleanup time guidebook. And even though we never got this toy, there was still some kind of hope that we could see this toy concept come back in another line, seeing as they repurposed the hideous hovercraft for the TMNT military line, but at the same time they announced Michelangelo's Sidewalk Surfer, which also never went into production. It's basically a reworked Toxic Crusaders Turf Surfer with a couple familiar accessories from other TMNT vehicles to tie it together like the turtle head bombs. But then again, it wouldn't always be the toy companies coming up with the requests for a TMNT toy, but also food tie-ins that wanted an extra price to promote their licensed product with. Hostess TMNT pies were supposed to be a limited thing back in 1991, but they had some more plans up their sleeve. One was the creation of an exclusive TMNT character in toy form, a free premium special figure. They had a couple ideas for the turtle giveaway offer like Prentice or Oscargo, the turtle's personal riding slug, but it seems like the one idea they went forward with was Sam Auri, a mutated bug samurai. Not that I would want any bugs in my turtle pies, but it seemed feasible. After all, Playmates had gone the samurai tour before with Panda Khan or Samurai Leo, and bugs were also added into the mix before with the likes of Anthrax or Scumbug. For now, it isn't known if the figure made it past sketching stage, but we could have gotten this mutated bug in samurai gear with the suggested colors, perhaps mainly orange like Triceratons and with red dots on the back. With 4 arms, he would have been one good addition to the hero team with a katana sword wielding action. Not that I would mind eating more turtle pies, but I wonder how many we would have needed to eat in order to mail away enough putting points for this special figure. And it just goes to show you that with a really good IP, all of the licensing opportunities were endless. So why not try it with a movie license? In 1993, Mattel would take on another stab at a movie license, this time with leading man Sylvester Stallone going up against Wesley Snipes. You definitely had enough muscles for a great action figure line. They thawed him out to capture a criminal. Even after 36 years on ice, he couldn't keep his cool. He's John Spartan, the Demolition Man, toughest cop of the 21st century. Join him in the hottest fight of the future as he puts escaped cryocons like Simon Phoenix in the dirt where they belong. Now, we knew that the actors had what it takes to carry a movie, but could they carry a toy line on an R-rated movie for kids? In Demolition Man, John Spartan goes up against Simon Phoenix in a crime-free future setting, and Mattel had the license. Quickly scrambling together some leftovers from the New Adventures of He-Man line, they were able to piece together a first-wave offering that consisted of a couple vehicles, and the stars of the movie, Sylvester Stallone, got 4 variations of his Spartan character.
I'm impressed.
Wesley Snipes, on the other hand, got 2 action figure variations, and there's 2 more side characters in the line, and while making it a boys marketed toy line, no figure was created for Sandra Bullock's character. But they weren't done yet. 2 more variations for Snipes and Stallone were up on the drawing board and even popped into prototype form. With the whole cryogenic gimmick, there was enough toyetic properties to play with in the form of a playset, but what they chose was a disappearing ink gimmick on yet another variation. Through heat-changing paint that will reveal the characters inside, below the thermochromic application would be a translucent figure with a skeletal feature on the inside. In order to make this apparent for a display on Toy Fair, they would need a working prototype, but also prototypes of both versions of the toy, and that's what got sold a couple months ago on eBay. Now, unfortunately, the line didn't perform too well, so these toys never got greenlit. So we'll probably never know what these would have looked like in the package. It's just like the shells in the movie. We still don't know what these things are about.
The place where you're supposed to have the toilet paper, you got this little shelf with 3...
He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells.
But one thing we can be confident about is that the toys would have probably been packed with a water spraying gun to allow the gimmick to shine. One thing they definitely didn't hold back with for this line was firepower for these toys. Then again, I always enjoyed the 80s more for action movies. It was just the golden age for them, and just as well for gross-out toys. The year was 1987, and Amtoy headed to Toy Fair bouncing with more Madballs than ever before. They went bigger with Super Madballs, but also extended the regular line and tried to expand those characters to action figures in a subline called Head Poppers. Even in cartoon, these balls had a body, so it kinda made sense. But they just didn't perform well enough. From the second series, none of the spring-loaded Maddies made it into production. And here's the lineup of interchangeable characters we missed out on for many more gross combinations. There's good and bad ones like in any other toy line, but let's start with the heroes in this case. First up, we got Double Dread, the baseball catcher who doesn't seem to be having a good time. With the ooze dripping out, knowing they had Series 1, it's probably not surprising they used previous production toys as a source to kid bash, and there's definitely some similarities with Screamin' Meanie, like the baseball-themed head and distinctive nose. The following they had put a little bit more effort into, like Socket Sucker, who has his eyes replaced with mouths and his mouth with an eye. This just looks like the gross-out toy you would expect from this line. Spitting Headache has a partial covered skeletal body. My guess is they split him in half, like his name suggests. In the second year, the creativity definitely falls down a bit. There's no quick, easy wins. It definitely feels tougher to put the gimmick name to sculpt. On the bad side, we have more colorful approaches where the good guys have a similar orange theme going. Knucklehead looks like he got dragged out of a lake and has got a mouth filled with a hand. I really like the blue and green seaweed colors and the sculpted rock nose and fishing float on this one. Snakebait has got a poisonous green color palette and snakes crawling around his body eating every limb this character has. I would have loved to have seen this one produced. Lastly, we have Frightbite, who has an interesting yellow color, oversized teeth, and got his pants stitched to his body. Enough gruesome features for a second year of the action figure line, right? All these would have featured the same head pop in action you could also access by pressing a little lever on the back, and in the first year they also played around with this in their vehicle, the Mad Roller Cycle. They even worked around the head popping mechanism to give it more playability when you place the toys on the vehicle. So for the second year, they had another one in store. Feast your eyes on the Madballs Mad Mobile. From the cutaway hot rod hood and flame spouting manifolds up front to the big sticks on the back, this van is loaded with head popping trills. A quick pull on the 8-ball ejector lever pops the head off the driver. Fender seats on each side pop the riders' heads off as well, and on top of the rotating turret there sits a head popping guy who can command the head hurling cannon at the touch of a lever. And a direct hit on this target pops up a rest in peace tombstone. On the back you can place another figure, and this part actually opens up so you can store some action figures inside. I really like the colors on this one and the fact that it even has a Madball head on the rims. But the coolest part about this vehicle is that it came with an exclusive unproduced 7th figure for the 2nd series line. And here he is, Clang Fang. With purple and gold colors, this character would have a clang as a hand and metal fangs to look totally badass. And knowing this vehicle is for the bad guys puts Clang Fang into that team as well. It's just too bad we missed out on collecting all of these. They would have definitely given us more to search for in a short-lived line, and they really tried to sell it to toy vendors by mentioning a national television advertising campaign, the good bad aspect that could create conflict play action, and then the fact that you had 14 designs that were interchangeable should have encouraged collectors to make multiple purchases. Even the vehicle wasn't just stock, but actually worked with the action figure gimmick, so it's unfortunate that the gross out trend wore off as quickly as it spread, leaving only the balls in the line to get produced. Too bad they just couldn't keep on rolling. But one thing's for sure when it comes to the history of toy lines, heads will roll. Luckily, we're here to research and discover these toy prototypes that collectors will go crazy about. I would definitely love to shout out Daniel for the help on this episode, as well as Pepper's Ghost on Twitter and ninjaturtlepies on Instagram for all the information and all the help I needed. Definitely let me know down in the comments below which one of these toy concepts you would have loved to have owned as a kid. Which one would you have picked up if it were in a store back in the day? Also, be sure to subscribe for more toy history videos, and if you'd like to do more, you can always leave a like or join us on Patreon. That's gonna be it for this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. See you later. Bye!